A moment that Japan and much of the world won't forget. A magnitude 9 quake striking the country's northeastern coast in March 2011. Triggering a massive tsunami which reached as high as 40 metres. And then an explosion at a nuclear plant spread radiation throughout the region. Aftershocks continue to this day. This week, a magnitude 7.3 quake shook the area. More than 140 people were injured, homes and buildings were damaged, and parts deep within Fukushima Daiichi's nuclear reactors may have been further weakened. The ABC has been given rare access inside the plant to witness the decommissioning efforts.
Until a few years ago, you had to wear a full protective suit throughout most of this plant, but now so much rubble has been removed from outside the reactor that levels are much lower. You can wear just plain clothes. The mask and gloves are more for COVID than dust and radiation.
But that's just outside the reactors themselves. Inside, where most of the radioactive material is concentrated, the danger remains. The plant's owner, TEPCO, hasn't been able to remove any of the debris from the 3 melted down cores.
There's 800 tonnes of highly radioactive nuclear fuel inside these reactors, and TEPCO has spent the last 10 years stabilising it and preparing for it to be removed. That was supposed to happen this year, but coronavirus has delayed that by up to 12 months.
We're planning to remove the fuel debris using a robot arm that's being made and tested in the UK, but because of the coronavirus situation there, that's been delayed.
But that's not the most pressing issue facing the plant's owners and the government. To find out more, I need to go even deeper inside, and that means a full protective suit.
This is where the plant's highly radioactive contaminated water ends up. Anything that's been in or around the reactor and the molten fuel comes here and is processed through these pipes and filters to remove 62 different types of radioactive materials. But it's an extraordinarily challenging and complex task.
The problem is TEPCO is running out of space to store more than 1 million tonnes of wastewater. It's had to build 1,000 tanks, but says it doesn't have room for any more.
As we carry out the decommission work, we can't just store the treated water. We will need a facility to safely store the fuel debris and the spent nuclear fuel.
A government panel of experts last year said releasing the water into the ocean was the most practical solution. That's how it's done at other plants in Japan and around the world. The water contains a radioactive element called tritium, but authorities insist it'll be in such low levels, released over such a long period of time, that it'll be safe. For those who make a living from that ocean and its reputation, the 2011 disaster destroyed their businesses overnight. These were once some of the most prized waters in the country, and Haruo Ono has fished them for more than 50 years.
Yes, they say it's okay to release tritium, but what do consumers think? We can't sell fish because the consumers say no. While people are not buying right now, would they buy something that's not 100% safe?
He lost his brother and all of his possessions in the tsunami. Then the nuclear meltdown destroyed his livelihood. Most fishermen in the area are covering their loss of income with TEPCO payouts, but they want a sustainable industry. After a decade doing all they can to convince the public their catch is safe, now they're worried it'll all be for nothing if the region's reputation is destroyed by dumping contaminated water into the ocean.
Why does Fukushima have to suffer the most? We were victims once. Why do they have to release it in Fukushima? If they released it evenly throughout Japan, it would be far less damaging to our reputation.
The fish from Fukushima is safe. Radiation tests are still carried out every week, and it's getting harder to find a fish that shows radiation. It's almost at the same level as fish from other areas, so I hope people will enjoy the local catch.
For fish shop owner Katsumasa Okawa, he's had to diversify his business with products from all around Japan and the world, though he wants to be selling more Fukushima fish. But he knows the water needs to be disposed of for the cleanup to continue.
As one Fukushima citizen, I'd like the nuclear plant to be decommissioned as quickly as possible, so I feel I have to accept some sort of damage or negative element.
Ultimately, the decision on what to do with the water will be made by the Japanese government, and it's only got until the end of next year before room runs out at the site. TEPCO has indicated it will compensate fishermen for further losses if the release of water damages their businesses, but many fear it will be the end of the industry, and that would be felt by the people of Fukushima for generations to come. Jake Sturmer, ABC News, Fukushima.